Hey Facebook community, Stephanie here. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm actually in Florida right now, taking a little vacation before the holidays, and I actually just saw Rogue One, the new Star Wars movie. Don't worry, there won't be any spoiler alerts, but as I was coming out of the movie theater, I kind of laughed to myself because if you had talked to me like 2 years ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, I was really proud that I had never seen any Star Wars movies. And I was like, nope, like, I've never seen Star Wars. It's stupid. I don't get it, blah, blah, blah. And I don't really know where that came from. I think because I never saw them when I was growing up. And so then I just hadn't seen them for a while. And so then I just thought, okay, well, I'll just resist seeing them. So this whole video today is about resistance. And resistance has been something that's kind of been coming up a lot for me, and kind of like realizing the things that I've resisted in the past and how those things have become actually huge parts of my life. So my two examples today are going to be Star Wars and yoga. And I was just talking to somebody the other day about yoga and how a lot of people resist doing it at first, and why is that? And I will say that when I first was introduced to yoga many, many, many years ago, I resisted it hardcore. By the way, I made myself some notes, so if I'm looking over, that's what I'm doing. So I resisted yoga hardcore. Like, I lived in Los Angeles, people would bring me to classes, and I was like, this is terrible. Why would anybody want to do it? Then I started making excuses as to why it wasn't good for me to do it. I was like, I'm a dancer. This is bad for me because I should be working on my turnout and not in parallel and blah, blah, blah. And I was mad that I wasn't good at it. Like, there was so many different things. And I was like, this is horrible. This is bad. I'm never doing this again. Then it came up again a little later in my life, and I was like, again, no, don't want to do this. But then finally it came up again in grad school, and I was like, you know what, maybe I will try this and I'll give it a chance. And they had a yoga for dancers class. Shout out Eliza Larson, thank you for doing that. And I was like, you know what, I'll do this. And to be honest, no offense, Eliza, I was doing it because I was like, oh, this will be an easy class. It's like second semester, second year of grad school. I'm tired. Like, maybe we'll just do that lying on the floor thing a lot. And it was in that class that I actually started understanding yoga. It was being taught to me at a slower pace than maybe just going to a drop-in class. And I started realizing how much I actually really do like it. And then when I left grad school, I was kind of like in this place where I didn't know where I was going to do, what I was going to do. I actually moved back to Connecticut and all this sort of stuff. And I started going to yoga classes. And that became a place for me, a home for me. And I learned so much, and cut to a few years later, and now I'm a yoga certified teacher. I teach yoga, all this sort of stuff, and I can't imagine like not having yoga in my life, right? So same thing with Star Wars. So like I said, a couple of years ago, I would have been like, nope, don't want to see them, don't have any interest in them, anything like that. And now I like love the movies, like love them, and they mean so much to me on so many levels. And I just have no idea how I didn't like want to see them before. And again, it was that a person came into my life and was like, hey, you should watch these movies. And, you know, I was like, I don't know, like why, blah, blah. And I'll be honest, last year when the Star Wars movies came out, everyone was so jazzed about it. And there was a part of me that was kind of like fear of missing out and a FOMO. And I was like, okay, I guess maybe I'll try. And when I started watching the movies, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing, like for multiple reasons, but specifically they hit me in such like a powerful way that I was like, why did I not want to watch these before? Especially because John Williams composed the originals, and anybody who knows me knows that I love John Williams. And so that's great. But like the messages and the idea of force and the light and darkness and the force is with you and all of that. I mean, like, hello, like I wrote a blog about it actually last year. You can check out my website. Like, that just speaks to just me on so many different levels, and the messages that I try to teach my students and my clients, and also just myself. And so they're just so much fun to watch. And so it got me thinking, like, why do we resist things? Like, what is it? Like, why? And so I guess like the basis to everything is some sort of fear. But like, what does that mean? Like, are we not ready for what it will bring, whatever that is that we're resisting? Is it self-doubt? Is it just to be defiant? Like, I just didn't want to watch Star Wars because I hadn't for so long, you know? Like, so there's defiance for no reason right there, right? Is it that we're scared? Is it that we don't think we're good enough? Like, there's so many reasons, right? So then it's like, well, how do we overcome resistance? And I was thinking about this as I was leaving the movie today. And to be honest, I don't think that there is one right way. That actually we all need to find our own ways and our own tools. And for each thing we resist, there might be a new tool that we need to use or discover. But when I was reflecting back on these two specific examples, I started realizing in both cases that I finally said to myself, why not? Right? I finally just kind of surrendered to it. I mean, maybe the reason I surrendered to Star Wars last year was because the guy I was dating was really into them, and I was like, okay, like maybe it'll be something we can connect with, right? And like, sure, why not, right? With the yoga, it was like literally I wanted to just lay on the ground. And so I was surrendering. Sorry, there's a plane going by. And so I just was like, sure, why not? And then I actually tried them with an open mind, right? Like, in the sense of like, well, what do I have to lose, right? So if I don't like the movie, that's 2 hours of my life, but I'm sitting here with someone I care about. So that's cool. You know, yoga, like, well, you know, I have to take a class anyway, so might as well take this class and do that, right? So I went into it with an open mind, and I said, why not? Then the other thing that I realized was that I had people to support me, right? So in grad school, I took the class with two of my friends, shout out Steven and Rebecca. And so then there was like a community feeling to it. With the Star Wars movies, I was watching it with somebody who really loved Star Wars and understood them. So whenever I had questions, I could ask, you know, and they had excitement for it. And it was something that he got to share with me. So that was really exciting. And so having support, having a community to help you out with it, right? Keeping an open mind and just kind of saying like, why not, and surrendering to it. Let me look at my notes here. And so then after each class I took, I started liking it a little more, right? And then after each movie I saw, each Star Wars movie, I was like, okay, let's watch the next one. You know, I think actually it was last Christmas that we like Jimmy rigged like my computer up to like my parents' TV so that we could watch all of them, right? So then I was prepared to go see the one that came out last year. And it was like every time I got more into it, I became more curious, which is huge. You know, curiosity is great. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to try more, and I started learning more about myself. And so then I started wanting to watch another one, take another class, and just kept going. And so now, like, these two things are part of my life that like bring me joy and happiness. And I thank everybody who brought me there. I also thank the people who tried to bring me there other times, and I resisted for whatever reason. It wasn't you, it was me at that point. And so it got me thinking as to like, what else am I resisting, right? What else am I resisting in my life? And you know, what else are you resisting in your life? And are there any places that you can just say, why not? Why don't I give this a try? And so for me, one of the things, I don't really like saying New Year's resolutions, I say goals, but one of the intentions that I'm going to have for myself this year is that I'm going to try and resist less, right? And I'm going to stay open, a mind, body, and heart. I'm going to be curious, which I think is huge. It really just is. I'm reading Big Magic right now by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's amazing, by the way, and all talks about a creative life, and it's all about curiosity. And then this is the big thing. I'm going to trust that the things that I initially feel resistant to, like want to resist, that they're probably the very things I need in my life. And so if I can just surrender a little, have a little faith, trust in the force, the universe, then maybe those things will also become the joy and the happiness that, you know, we all are seeking. And to kind of come from it in a playful sort of way, right? Like the yoga classes in grad school, like we laughed at ourselves all the time. And I couldn't do some of the simplest things. And I mean, we're all dancers, so you're thinking, okay, of course you can. And now those simple things I can do, and that's really exciting. Star Wars, like, I enjoyed it. I remember making cookies so we could sit down and watch them, right? Like, I remember talking about them. I wrote a blog about it. I was so inspired. I got to talk to my students about it, some of my friends, and like they became like very happy parts of my life. So not challenge. Because challenge seems like a really like defensive word, but I urge you, I empower you to look at your life and see where maybe you resisted something in the past that you don't anymore. Maybe you have similar feelings that I have. And then also look at your life and see where you're resisting things right now. And can we just breathe, take a step back, and surrender to it. Have a little fun, approach it with an open mind, body, and heart, and you might just find out that that thing that you resisted is the very thing that you were hoping for and that you were missing to bring that joy and happiness. So enjoy the rest of this week. Christmas and Hanukkah coming up soon. Yay. I posted a meditation on my website, and it's also here on my Stephanie Simpson Coaching Facebook page. It's about the new year and being able to release things so that we can really welcome the new stuff. I always think it's funny that people get to that point at the end of the year and they're like, oh, I hate this year, blah, blah, blah. And they think that at midnight things are just going to change, and it's not, because you just brought in the energy from the year before. So how about take a step back, breathe, and let go of that. Say thank you to the things that were challenging. Say thank you to the things that brought you joy. Say thank you to yourself. That's the premise of also the premise of the meditation. So I hope you enjoy that. And please, always send me comments, feedback, questions. I still have a couple more spots left in my one-on-one coaching program, so find that out. Look that up. It's called Find Your Balance. Geared towards mostly women, but men are always welcome. And there's some exciting new things on the horizon for 2017. So love you all. Wish you all well. Have fun. And I will talk to everyone soon. Bye.